every time I go live, there is somebody from one of these groups that sits down and watches the show to clip. And when I say something that's inconvenient, when I say something that sounds bad, they clip it, they put it in an article, and then every time, henceforth, I go on a show like this, or they write a news article about me, they're there to reproduce basically the highlight reel of every unfortunate thing I've ever said, every, like, for example, you say I talk about killing Ben Shapiro. For context, I was playing Grand Theft Auto. I was doing a gaming stream. I saw an NPC that looked like a Hasidic Jewish person.
And you ran him over.
And I said, that's Ben Shapiro. Let's go get Ben Shapiro. And people misconstrue that as like a threat. Or even Nima brought up earlier, he said, well, you're talking about ganging up with Hitler to kill a black guy. I said on my show, I saw somebody the other day in my neighborhood littering. It was a black person. Was just throwing 3 wrappers out of his window. I said, people like that should get the death penalty. I said, littering in my community, I said, that's ridiculous.
But,
I said,
is that literal or is that just being bombastic?
It's
but
hyperbole.
But don't you see how like you have kind of a response? I understand what you're saying. You're trying to be funny, and I get that. I've said things that were, you could probably take out of context too. Well, my point is like, I'm not, you're 100 times bigger on your platform than I am. I feel a responsibility for the things that I say that they can't be taken out of context. And it's one of the things where I tell my clients is like,
yo man, it's fucking jokes, okay? That's why you're not funny and Nick is. Yo, the world has become so soft. People used to be much stronger and based.
when you say things to people and you text them, they're there forever. And so I feel a responsibility for certain jokes that I can't make because they can be taken out of context. Do you ever feel that responsibility as well? Because you have a very big platform. You have a lot of people who do take a lot of the things you say literally, even when you're being metaphorical.
Well, I would say first of all, that's not true, because nobody who watches my show has ever done anything violent. You know, all these kinds of things you've heard about, politically motivated violence. There's never been anybody that watches my show that's done anything like that, because I push Catholicism. It's a sin to kill. It's a sin to hurt people. As far as responsibility is concerned, you have to keep in mind that it's bad faith. You know, when people take something like I'm playing a video game stream and I kill an NPC and they say, that's a death threat. You know, that's an actionable death threat. At a certain point, I say, okay, well, this isn't fair. No matter what I say, they're going to take it out of context. They're going to take it in the most uncharitable way. And I tend to do this where I'll play it up to such a crazy point as the statement in itself. I did a speech after I got banned on Twitter, and I went outside a hotel and I said, you know what? I'm going to give the most racist, the most sexist, and it's because, as you know, the left will call everything under the sun racist, even when it's not, sometimes even when it is. And so it's just to play it up a little bit. So, Nick, but I do feel responsible.
Nick, I want to ask you a question in terms of, how are you I think that you are a product of the culture and where it is today, because how are you any different than someone like Ilhan Omar saying that white men are a danger to society? I think we live in this world now, in the culture, where making money off of being sensational and getting more followers and getting more...
I mean, if you say white men are the problem, it's really ridiculous, because everybody wants to live in white countries, in white Christian countries. Who built them? Thanks to the Lord, white men built those countries. We built America, we built Europe, and everybody wants to live here. So it's factually wrong. What Nick is saying are just facts. So that's the difference, woman.
More attention is a direct result of where we are as a culture. And to me, that's very sad. Because men like Eisenhower, we stand on the shoulders of giants. Do you think that they would ever say the things that you have said? No.
Yeah.
They might have said it,
they all agree with me.
To make money, no. Eisenhower does not believe that the Holocaust did not happen.
Hey,
well,
Nick,
Eisenhower had concentration camps himself. You probably don't know that because you don't even read any books.
But I mean, they were camps for Japanese people, but they weren't systematically.
I'm talking about camps in Germany.
My point is, do you believe that you are effective, or do you do this to gain attention and to make money?
Let me reply to that, because a lot of people accuse me of that. It's a pretty curious way for a person like me to make money by getting myself banned from the banking system. I can't have a personal checking account. I can't have credit card processing on my website.
You didn't know that you were going to get banned, though, when you started saying all this stuff.
I think it was pretty established even back then. Chuck Johnson, Milo, all those guys got banned way before me. It would be far more lucrative to do what you do and talk about Hamas as the enemy of the world, because there's no shortage of jobs for people that carry water for that. But if you oppose it, you get banned from everything. You get kicked out of Turning Point. You get whatever. So let me just say, it hasn't been especially lucrative for a person like me to not have access to the financial system.
Just to be clear, and I'll come to you. So just to be clear, I think you made up a good point about the attention economy. Attention is a currency these days, in whether it's with your finances, with views, the eyeball economy, with women. That's how they, suck resources out of men, time, energy, attention. What you say, do you actually believe what you say, or is it the good old-fashioned shock jock, let's shock the system and be bombastic? How do you process
I would have to believe what I say, because I've gone through a process which, I don't wish on people. It's not just being banned from the banking system, which I don't think you realize. It means I can't make money. Imagine if you couldn't accept credit cards on your website. You have a huge platform, but if you didn't have YouTube, if you didn't have super chats, if you couldn't accept credit cards, the ability to make money rapidly disappears. As far as the sensationalism goes, I'll admit I'm sensational like anybody. It's marketing. But I've gone through the gauntlet of what I have at a very young age. And again, like I said, it's it's the social media deplatforming. It's being ostracized by my high school friends and the whole gamut of having views like I have, because I really believe them. And it's founded not, by the way, in race baiting or something. It's founded in my conviction in Catholicism. If you knew anything about me, what really changed in college is not just that one inquiry about the foreign aid. It was the fact that I picked up a Bible actually for the first time in my life in college, and I genuinely thought about death. And I realized that what we have today is a world order that is totally set against Jesus and totally set against God. And so it's on my heart to do this, no matter the cost, even if it, even if
Nick, let me ask you, and then I'm coming to Nima because he hasn't spoken.
You do complain that people, you get angry that people are complaining that you use the N-word, that you said Hitler very cool, but 45 minutes ago you threw a huge fit whenever anyone here brought up the accusations of you watching porn.
What?
I don't think that's an accusation. Who's accusing me of that?
I mean, I think Ethan Ralph, I think quite a few people online
but what are
have
you
talked
talking
about you being a closet homosexual as well and watching porn. I mean, I think you know what I'm talking about. And
Nima, where are you
this is
getting
just
this
a
story
personal
from?
attack,
I mean,
then. What evidence do you have for any of this? He could speak for himself.
That you're a closet homosexual?
Yeah, what's the evidence?
I think enough people have told me. I think it's been all over it.
So what's the evidence, if you know?
What's the evidence that you're straight?
You said I'm gay, porn. What's the evidence? Let's hear it. What's the case?
I think there's been at least 2 people in your group that have basically been caught around, with
Who?
Ali was one.
And what is my relationship with him? Tell me.
I don't know. You got fired by Kanye's campaign, didn't you?
So you don't know.
But you got fired by him, didn't you?
No. But let's talk about Ali, because we could talk about Kanye, but let's talk about Ali, because you said Ali's in my group. What does that mean? Because you just said that.
I mean, that's like your best friend forever, isn't it?
He's my best friend forever? What's my relationship with him?
You know what it is. Now you're downplaying it.
You don't even know. Because you're here to attack me personally, because you have some beef with my political views.
I like Trump. You're getting defensive again.
Because you're... Okay.
I never set up Trump like you did when you
set up Trump.
Just to be clear here, guys, just to be clear, he actually was... I don't know who Ali is, and that's why I'm generally being like, who the hell's Ali here? You mentioned it multiple times.
You don't even
I hope
know.
you guys would clarify this. He actually was like, hey, I agree with you being deplatformed. I don't agree. I empathize with you.
And then he comes in with the personal attack.
Well, I think that's just
no, it's not
how people debate.
Hey,
But, so what's the point here, though, guys, gentlemen?
I just find it rich that that you're doing this, Nick, because I think
doing
that
what?
Nick, in your Telegram group, you've extensively made the joke that you're using comedy as a cover to shield you, that people are all stupid, they don't figure out what you're doing, but you know what you're doing. And I think Michael was right.
What am I doing?
You're really actually pushing hate and bigotry, man.
Which is what? Hate against whom?
Definitely towards Jewish people.
In what way? I just got done saying I have Jewish friends.
Pearl is my friend. I was on Pearl's show. Did you see when Pearl got attacked on Piers Morgan?
I did, yeah.
And if you looked at Pearl's Twitter, she literally put a Jewish guy on her Twitter and said, "I can't wait to have you back on the show." I made jokes on women for about 2 hours, 3 hours straight in London a month ago, and she laughed.
That's great. How am I pushing hate?
Hold on, and she laughed. So when she made a song about the Jewish people, I said,
we'll play the clip.
I said, okay, fine. I mean, just like Chappelle made jokes about Jewish people. I said, fine. But I think, to Pearl's credit, she's here making songs that I found offensive, but I supported her freedom of speech.
Dude, we don't give a fuck what you did. Like, you're accusing Nick of a crime he obviously did not commit. What's the evidence? You have none. So shut up. We don't care about your life.
Well, why was that offensive? Why was that song offensive?
Well, let's play the clip, and we can have this conversation. Did you want to weigh in before we play the clip?
I just want to say one more thing.
Well, don't go off topic, because we're going to go to this clip.
But can I defend myself a little bit?
I mean,
How about this, guys? Since I'm on your guys' show, when can I play the clip that we're talking about here?
About 5 minutes.
When can I play the clip that we've teed up? That you guys are literally discussing. You guys tell me how to run my show.
I'll let you know.
How do you
take a smoke break
how do you
real quick.
claim that you are not sexist? And look, I'm not a feminist by any means, believe me. But how can you claim that you're not sexist when you say comments and you mean them like women should not go to college? Is that not...
What does sexism mean to you?
Would the average person or the average female, Republican, Democrat, black...
These people are so fucking retarded that I'm actually losing brain cells. You have a fine amount of time to have kids. You have to choose between a career and kids. Why? Because you're not gonna have time to raise a kid if you have a full-time career. What the fuck is wrong with these people?
White, green, blue, who has gone to college, would they be offended by something like that you believe? I'm not saying you shouldn't say it. You have the right to say it.
I know.
But is that not is that not offensive?
Okay. What does that mean, offensive? When I say that women should be mothers instead of go to college, how does that offend you?
No, you said women shouldn't go to college, and we talked about education.
That's what I just said. You're living proof of why women should go to college. Let me just tell you that.
I'm living proof why women shouldn't go to college?
Yeah,
if you don't want the personal attacks, then don't give the personal. If you don't want the personal attacks, then don't give the personal attacks. If you don't want the personal attacks, then don't give the personal attacks.
Being personally attacked if you're not paying attention.
What if I said that...
Catalina, Nick, go ahead.
What if I said that you were living proof why women shouldn't stay home and raise children? Because clearly
you said it's offensive.
You were kind of raised a little weird at this point.
You said it's offensive, and I said, what's offensive about saying women should stay at home and raise families instead of go to college? And you said, that's not what you said. You said women shouldn't go to college.
You did say that. That can be taken
and I'm saying,
in
how's
a million
that
other
offensive?
ways.
I'm saying, how's that offensive?
If you go back to what he said, he was correlating the two and saying the reason why they shouldn't go to college is because he believes in reinstilling those values.
Well, just let me answer. How's that offensive?
So if I've been out of college for now 10 years and I'm still not married with children, how did me going to college impact not having a family? And
well, you don't have a family.
Right. So how did that impact?
Exactly. How the fuck are they so stupid? You just proved this point with your own life. You don't have a family and you went to college and you're 30 years old and you're stupid as fuck. You're the living proof of what Nick is saying.
Going to college, and then you talk about God and you're God-fearing. What about God's role in finding a partner? What about God's timing? What about those things?
I'm asking you simply because you said it's offensive. How is what I said offensive?
You said that women should not go to college.
I know. How is that offensive?
Because women, if they want to go to college, should want to go to college. They should be able to go to college.
But how does that offend people? Why is that offensive?
You don't think that would be offensive to women if
Well, you're answering a question with a question. You said it. How is it offensive?
Because people should be able to pursue what they want to pursue, and
And you can believe
You're
that, but
basically
it's not
saying
offensive.
you're basically saying that women shouldn't be
Can I try
educated.
to, can I
if
try to
they
sell
don't-
this real quick? And it's just a disagreement of beliefs. What she's saying is a woman's right.
We don't need the white knight, bro.
Nick, you said you would actually marry.
And now it's back to and this personal attack.
No,
another
but
drive-by.
Nick, you
Let's
did.
hear it.
Nick, you said you were ready that you would one day marry a teenage girl, and that actually makes sense because, you
Are you
look
gonna
like
call me
a
a
teen boy that would probably molest himself.
Okay, and there it is again with the personal attacks. Maybe this is a reason for I think.
My wife.
Because you're a very obnoxious person. I came here respectfully, polite, and you're coming on here with personal attacks, drive-by shots.
You're getting the defensive
Because
again
it's
about the
totally
child
unprofessional.
born and the
Yeah, but-
I came here for a debate, and
Yeah,
you come on
well-
here saying I look like a teenager, and this is not
Well,
professional.
guys,
I mean, you do
and
look like you have a micro
You're-
penis.
Okay,
Okay,
and there
guys,
it is.
Yeah, but
here's what we're gonna do
that's
here.
an attack
Guys,
on-
here's what we're
that's
gonna do
not
here.
what we're
Let's
talking
keep
today.
this high
Come on.
level.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's super high
No,
level.
meaning let's keep it high level. And
I
what I'll
respect
say is
you. I
let's
respect you, Nick.
avoid
I'm
the
sorry.
personal attacks.
Yeah, I
No,
agree.
you're not
I agree with that.
What I
And
will
you don't-
say is
stop saying you respect me because
Nick, it's
you
just
don't.
comedy. Nick, it's just sensational.
But that's
There it
fine.
is.
But what I will say is like, you did also go to like, I don't give a fuck what this guy is. He's just a brown dude. I don't know, whatever. I don't care that he's
I don't
Jewish
know
or
who
not.
he is either.
So, but that's my point.
I know
You
he's
went
Jewish,
to the
though.
lowest, like, well, maybe that's why people don't like Jews. Like,
After he called me
I
a
get it.
pedophile.
I get it.
Nick, you
and
straight
that
up-
was low class on his end. But that's like if you did something that I didn't agree with. I'm like, those fucking Catholics
This is a
again.
great
Like
show.
that.
This is a great show.
Adam, Nick,
Guys, here's what we're gonna do.
You're right. On the Zoom call before, you're
Nick,
right.
Nick, could you at least address this? You literally said that the entire country of India smells like shit.
That's true. It does smell bad. You're going to tell me Delhi doesn't smell bad? They got 1.5 billion people, and they're all crammed together on one train. It doesn't smell bad?
It's the
They
curry.
do.
Come on, man.
With
Can I-
spices?
can I-
It's spices.
can I-
What's
can I
good for the
calm
goose
things
is what's
down real
good for the
quick?
gander,
Yeah,
man.
okay.
Just-
Hey, Nick,
And I'm playing
We're about
into
to
it
get to
a little
super
bit.
chats.
Nick,
By the
I-
way, everyone, we're about to read super
But-
chats
no, but
in
that's not
30
cool.
seconds.
Nick, I totally agree with you. No personal attacks. I want to do that. But I'm just thinking, like, when I was 24 years old, I didn't enlist into the U.S. military until I was 26.
So,
and I didn't
just-
have my life figured out.
Let's skip this fucking white knight, bro.
And that's the thing is a lot of people, whenever somebody has views like me, which are so contrary to the establishment, they say the only reason a young person or an intelligent person could go against the system is because, well, obviously something is wrong with them, or they're,
I don't think anything's
hang
wrong
on,
with you. Okay.
or something personal happened
Sure.
to them, or, in other words, that it came from something other than inquiry. But in my case, like I said, I was a person who, I was really huffing the propaganda from Daily Wire and PragerU and all these groups. And then I realized I wasn't getting the full story. I realized there was a totally different angle to it. And like I said, it was my inquiry into that topic, which is why that was taken off the table in the first place. And I'll tell you just a quick example. In December 2016, this is really a big part when it started. They were calling Obama anti because he instructed our ambassador to the UN to abstain from a Security Council vote condemning Israel's settlements in the West Bank. And I said, how is it they're calling him anti they're saying he hates Jews because he instructed a diplomat to abstain from a vote, which, by the way, is our official policy. It's our official policy since 67 that we think the civilian settlements are illegal, which is what the UN was condemning. So we were doing something consistent with our policy, and yet roundly in conservative circles, they said, well, he hates Jews. He did that because he hates Jews. And I said, wait a second, I don't like Barack Obama. I don't
They
like
do
him
that
as
for
much as
every
the next
president,
guy.
though. Biden's catching heat with
I know.
Netanyahu, Trump, even though he moved the embassy from
Tel Aviv to
Tel
Jerusalem.
Aviv to Jerusalem. Yet his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, his wife, is like Obama, George W. Every president's going to get all sorts of allegations. We know that.
Right, but the point is, as I said, how is this any different from when somebody gets called racist for saying something that isn't really racist? How is it different from being called Islamophobic for saying something that's not what all
Nick,
the other things?
let me ask you
Okay,
straight up, because we're
that's-
going to... Nick, let me ask you, and then we move on. I'm going to let you answer this. Ready? Here we go. Then we move on.
Okay.
Nick Fuentes,
Yeah.
welcome to the Saucecast. Are you a racist?
No.
Okay. Are you anti-Semitic?
No.
Okay. Are you Islamophobe?
No.
Do you hate gays?
No.
Okay. Is there any single individual group you hate more than others?
No. I love
Okay.
all people.
Do you think, do you hate black people?
No.
Okay. Do you think India smells?
That I do. Yeah,
Okay,
I do
there we go.
Listen,
Then that's
go
where
to
we'll
an
go
Indian
with this.
restaurant. It's
All right.
The curry.
At this point, we will read our super chats. Thank you for being here.
You know, it's really funny because the Jew guy and the feminist bitch proved everything Nick has been saying as true. So guys, let me know in the comments what you think, if you agree or disagree, especially of the personal attacks by that Jew. What the fuck was that? Leave a like if you want to. Christ is King, and God bless you.